Recording in progress.
All right, I'm in. Are you in?
Who's on? Is that you, Bethany, or Julie?
It's Julie.
Thank you so much. I'm going to let Lauren know that we're in.
Okay.
I'm in too, Dan.
Oh, thank you.
I had it ready to log in if we get it open.
Okay. So, oh, it looks like a lot of people are here. I'm sorry, I'm not great with technology, and I don't know why it's not working. For some reason, with the username, I can't get it to be a capital M. I don't know if that's why.
Oh, you know what? Maybe, shall I make somebody else host here? I don't know why it's me. Although I might not know how to do that either.
Julie, are you able to let people in and all that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are you okay with hosting the meeting?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay, awesome. So I'll run it, you host it.
Okay.
Excellent. All right, so Trevor, you're here, thank you. And looks like we have a quorum, excellent. And let's open the meeting at 7:05, and thank you all for your patience. I'm not sure why I have so many complications with Zoom only for the town, but anyhow. First or second item on the agenda is public hearings. Do we have any public hearings? Okay. Review of the agenda and perpetual calendar. I don't see anything to change. I think the only thing I was going to ask a little bit tonight is if anyone would like to contribute information on the annual report. I think I sent you all sort of a little rundown. So next, warrants and gifts. Steve or Bruce?
So I can do the warrants. We have 4 warrants tonight. 2 payroll, number 311, dated the 29th of November for $82,758.07. Number 312, dated the 13th of December for $82,309.27. 2 payable warrants, number 3012, 30th, $369.89, and 3013, dated the 13th of December for $7,833.27.
Great. And Steve, you generally sign all those warrants, correct?
Yes, I signed them. Although I saw you sign 2 of them. Not,
I was there picking up some information, right? And Trevor, you have all those numbers? Excellent. So do we have a motion to approve the warrants?
I'll make a motion to approve the warrants.
All right, and a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor? Hayes, aye.
Sullivan, aye.
Thomas Baker.
Great,
Martell, aye.
excellent. Next, I need an approval of the minutes for November 18th, 2021.
I move to approve the minutes from November 18th.
Okay,
I
and a
second.
second. Excellent. All right, Trevor, in case you didn't get that, Julie was seconding. All right, and any amendments or changes to the minutes? Okay, all in favor? Hayes, aye.
Sullivan, aye.
Thomas Baker. Aye.
Rose, I.
Martell, aye.
Excellent, thank you all. So unfinished business, the FY23 draft budget. So Bruce, what's the unfinished business?
I don't believe we have any unfinished business. I just wanted to say that I think we're meeting with the Selectmen and Finance Committee next Tuesday night, just to get their input. But as far as the school committee is concerned, we basically approved the draft budget last meeting, and we'll get their input, and you guys can make decisions from there. So that's where I think we're
So,
at.
great. So school committee members, thank you for responding to the emails that I was sending out. If you didn't quite capture the gist of what I was trying to do, I was hoping that the finance committee and select board could meet this evening with us so that we could avoid another meeting for most everybody. But unfortunately that didn't work out. So next week, the 21st, looks like we're going to have that meeting with the other committees. But I did have a question, Susie, for you. So in terms of process, I guess I wanted to see what or how the process worked, because what I was thinking was happening is that when we go through the draft budget and you are a representative of the finance committee, do you bring that to the finance committee for discussion? And then when we had our next meeting, bring questions, or how does that work with the finance committee?
I think it's a interpretive dance, and having talked to some other towns, I feel my role as a liaison is to read through the draft and send any questions I have over to Bruce, which I did. And the finance committee received the draft. And I did forward the questions to them that I had asked. Then I believe you will bring the draft next Tuesday, and Bruce or you will run through highlights like we did when you presented it to the school committee. And I had hoped to have the answers to the questions so I could talk with the FinCom, but I didn't see them come in. And so I did not get answers to them, but I forwarded the answers that Bruce gave to my questions. So maybe the committee will read through it. I think there's still some stuff we will be looking to get identified more clearly, like which items are really being funded by school choice and separated the ones to ESSER, and so that we end up with a total of school choice spending and a separate total of ESSER. Those are the kinds of questions that I can guess will be asked. And then it's a less than an hour meeting, I believe, on next Tuesday. So if there are follow-up questions, the point of a liaison is to not have 6 different people contact the school committee. It's to sort of collect the questions and see if we can get it answered. The fact that Bruce will be out of here on December 23rd is going to make this slightly more difficult to figure out if there's a lot of questions, but we'll just go with what we got.
Okay, I did have a concern because I know last week I had checked in with the finance committee member and they hadn't received the budget. So I sent it because I felt like they should have had it a long time ago. They also made me aware that there were some questions you had that you had sent to Bruce. So I guess I just wanted to state publicly that I do believe in openness and transparency and constant communication. So I'm wondering if it might be better to maybe bring that draft to the full committee and have a discussion. And then when there are questions, bring them before the committee so that we can have conversations about these questions, as opposed to waiting for us to approve the budget and then bringing those questions as sort of an after effect.
I don't know what you're referring to, that we should have had it a long time ago. I believe I saw the draft at the November 18th meeting, and then I requested it to be sent to me. So that's not a long time ago. Are you thinking there's a process that the draft before it goes to the school committee is available and should be discussed?
No, but maybe we should be sending it to you at least for that meeting. Would that be
For the meeting where the school committee first considers it?
Right, would that be helpful?
Yeah, that would be helpful. I didn't know how much before the meeting was prepared, and I also imagine the school committee has some questions, but yeah, I could be getting ready with questions when the
Perfect.
school committee first looks at it.
Excellent. Again, just my goal would be, sort of openness, transparency, and sort of making sure that we're all in the loop so that we communicate well. I don't know, it just seems to me like it's all a rush. I mean, I was in Texas at a conference getting phone calls, text messages, emails about this meeting on the 21st, and it just seemed rushed. But anyhow, I'm glad we're all meeting and we'll be able to get through this budget. And perhaps if there are questions that you had that you sent to Bruce, you may want to share them with us as a committee.
Mhm. Okay, and the other thing is that then the pace of the previous years, this joint meeting with the select board and the FinCom would have been in January, and it got moved up because of Bruce leaving. So this is an unusual combination of things. I don't think I'm not sure we could look at it as a process issue and try to make sure we have it lined up, but I think those are some of the factors that are here.
Great.
And the other piece that will be forever is that this is a bunch of volunteers. So when I look at the budget, there's things I don't understand yet because I'm too new at this. And some of my questions were about understanding, but I do know that members of the FinCom want to be clear about what funding sources the school committee is planning to use and be able to see that. And then because the estimate that Jackie was able to send out had, some projected spending for FY23, and that's not for school choice money. That doesn't seem to be, that's not the only way school choice money decisions are made. And so when things change, it's a process of getting an understanding of that.
Okay.
So,
Well, I
yeah.
just want to make sure that you, as a representative of the Finance Committee, always feel comfortable to ask those questions here. They don't have to get sent to Bruce. Talking about it in the open is always best.
Well, some of them were understanding questions and some, yeah,
Okay.
I can do that. I feel like also you all have your time to get your agenda done. And I thought of it as a financial director question, but I could have been
All
wrong.
right. No worries. I mean, if it's a specific question you want to reach out to Bruce, again, I think that's great. Communication is important. I just want to make sure you feel comfortable to ask questions here. Okay?
Yep.
Thank you. All right. Reports. Do we have a report from the superintendent this evening? Okay. Director of Finance and Operations.
So I had a conversation with Becky the other day, and it looks like the roof won't get done until April. They're having issues getting material right now, so that's been put off. I believe they're going to try to do the door over Christmas break, though I'm not quite sure about that, but the door's here, and I know Bob's trying to find a contractor to install it. so.
Well, nobody has, just so you know, nobody has spoken to me about having access to the building over break.
Okay, so probably won't happen. So anyway, we have pieces and parts. We're just trying to get everything to come together. Dan. So
All right,
that's where
Steve is
we're at.
raising his hand, and since he's on the buildings committee, let's hear from Steve.
Yeah, so Bob has gotten at least 2 quotes, if not 3, for installers. And we're meeting on Monday to decide who it is. But yeah, so Monday will be the discussion of who the installer will be. But yeah, there's no one has made any kind of arrangement to have it done, but I will make sure that you know first.
Yes, if there is any arrangements to have the doors replaced, which we have been wanting for a period of time, they need to be replaced. definitely you need to speak with Jackie so that you can make arrangements for access to the building. So
Right, and I do
appreciate-
have custodians going on vacation, so I don't know if I'll have a person. It might have to be someone with access like Steve or Becky to the building with a key.
Great.
I don't think it will happen that fast because we haven't even decided who the person's gonna be yet.
Okay,
Great. So we look forward to having those doors replaced and keep us posted as to when that will be. It would be great. All right. And all right, principals report.
So,
Oh, I'm sorry, Bruce, was there anything else?
yeah, I was just gonna say this is my last meeting with Shutesbury, and want to say what a wonderful experience it is. They work with a group dedicated to our children as much as this group is. So thank you very much. And
We're going to
ya.
see you on the 21st, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that whole meeting's revolving around you, buddy. You better be there.
Yeah, I'll be there on the 21st. That was my hope to at least get in front of the Selectmen and Finance Committee and give them the same information, and so that we all get the same information that we can share and get feedback at the same time. So.
Right, and Susie shared with us this evening that it looks like, especially knowing where this extra money is being used and all of that would be very
Yeah,
important.
and I've kind of left that as especially the school choice and ESSER for right now, as kind of a commingled pot, just because, as the budget finalizes, then we can come up with a more concrete numbers of what's school choice and what's ESSER, and divide it out then. So right now it's a little fungible, it's a little workable, and we'll as the process progresses, it'll get defined a little better.
Great. Susie has a question.
So it would be good to know what the beginning balances of both of those pots are. I don't think the Finance Committee knows or understands fully how the ESSER money comes in, how much comes in, and then like the balance that's intended. I don't know if there's a balance of ESSER that will roll forward at the close of FY22.
Well, that's excuse me, Susie, that's a 2-year grant, and it goes through fiscal 23. And we, correct me if I'm wrong, Jackie, but we budgeted for a person for both years out of that. And then there's some other things that are coming in and out of there. So, and the school choice,
we
I can
budgeted for
estimate
more than one person with ESSER. Yeah.
so,
Great. So as
And-
long as we have that information, that'd be great.
yeah, we can do that.
Great. Susie, did you have any other questions?
No, I just feel like if the presentation is clear, then that will help.
Great. So you're going to be on that night, Bruce. All right. Next, principal's report. I know it was sent to us.
Yeah, I sent it to you, so I don't need to talk about it too much, but we certainly have the highest amount of testing in the union going on at our school. Sorry, I have a dog that's not well, so if you hear some things, then that's what it is. So we have over 80% of students and almost all staff testing weekly, and we haven't had a positive result yet. We have an exceptionally challenging but delightful preschool this year. And we are receiving one, possibly two students due to special education need in January, which means that we're going to need another para to be able to support those students. And so I have posted for another para position, but I only did it temporarily till the end of this year, just because I'm I don't want to hire a full-time continual para if I don't need it. So right now I'm just hiring it till the end of the year. And then we're going to take a look at the needs of the building and figure out going forward if that needs to continue or if I can move some things around or figure out what we need to do for that. But once again, I'm just going to reiterate my personal and leadership team's personal wish that we really wish we could do joint programming within the buildings. And this is an example of a reason why we really would need that. We would love to be able to offer special education programming within 4 schools instead of having to develop really intensive programs for a very small amount of students. And so again, it's just another tricky part about being a small school. We go on December break very soon. It's very needed. We're all really enjoying our time with the children, but just like everyone, we're really ready for a break and a reset, and so are the children. Our 5th grade teacher has applied and once again been awarded another STARS grant for science education. This is maybe the 3rd time she's done this for our building, and it means some really amazing science work with the Hitchcock Center. And this year it's going to be targeted towards grades 4, 5, and 6. And so they will be, a teacher from the Hitchcock Center will come and do some really in-depth units with the teachers and the students. I think there's going to be 3 or 4 sessions with each class. Just so everyone knows, we are having our band and our string instrument lessons again. All of our string lessons are in person, and and that's with 1 teacher. And then students in band who choose to do piano or percussion are in person, and any students that are choosing a wind instrument are virtual. And that's how we chose to work that this year. We have a lot of students participating. I'm not going to go into detail on the next part I wrote to you about, but there's just a whole lot of fun and awesome things happening within the classrooms. And, you know, every day I'm reminded of how lucky we are to have the teachers that we have and the amazing planning and projects that go on in the classrooms. It's pretty extraordinary. And then because we're so used to normally having our school community be able to walk our halls and see our building, I wanted to take some pictures of the incredible artwork that's being done with our art teacher, Beth Reamer, who's like really phenomenal artist and teacher. And, you know, our community is not getting to see it because they're not in the building, but it's happening, and it's being put up within our school, and our hallways are cheerful and lovely and happy. And I just wanted to share with the committee some of the displays that are in our building because they're pretty phenomenal. And in particular, we're all really proud of the rainbow plaque that we have on our website and everything else, but it's self-portraits done by everyone. A lot of the staff and all of the children, they were assigned a color and they had to draw a self-portrait, and Beth put it all together, and it's really spectacular. And you can see that too there. So that's really all I have for my report tonight, and just a lot of thinking around budget, like we've been talking about, and meeting the needs of our students in a pandemic world continually happening is a constant challenge, and we're constantly working to make sure that we're providing the best possible thing for our kids.
So Jackie, I had a question. So budgetarily, like hiring this additional para, is there circuit breaker or what? How does that work?
Well, yeah, and I think this is a really good piece of education point, Dan. Thank you for bringing up circuit breaker. I think there's this misconception about how much money we get in circuit breaker, but we get a very small amount of money in circuit breaker due to the formula. And Bruce can maybe talk about that a little bit better, but due to the formula that you need to meet, and then you're only reimbursed a certain percentage, we do have some money in circuit breaker that we can take a look at. We also have a lot of money in school choice that we might need to use to get us through so that our budget stays in a good spot. So we do, like our ESSER money and all of that, to be able to receive that, we had to make a plan on how to spend it. So that's not like free money for us to be able to use for this. That's money that I had to create a budget and an explanation on how I was going to use that. So I can't just like grab from that money, but we do have some special education grant money that we could use over the years that we have saved up a little in just because of COVID and the need being a little different. But it also might mean, and Bruce and I have to take, because this is we just found out about this need, where we might need to ask for some school choice money. But a para is only $20-something thousand, which is, it's not okay that they're paid that little, but it's not like we're talking about, an $80,000 with everything said and done teacher.
Okay, thank you. Steve? You have your hand up?
See if I can unmute myself here. Yeah, I had two questions. One of them I still remember was, how is lunch going now that you're inside? And I'll try and think of the other one.
Yeah, well, lunch is going great. Well, lunch is going fine inside. How we did it is there's 2 classrooms at once in the cafeteria. Those are typically the biggest classrooms that need the most space to be able to spread out. And we have our divider down. I mean, this is all in our plan, so you can read it, but there's a divider down and there's 1 class on each side. Those of you who have children in the school probably have heard about that. And that we have those long benches and there's 1 student on each side of the bench. So there's 6 feet at least in between them. And then the other class, the smaller classrooms, so in this case, our 1st grade, our 4th grade, and our 6th grade eat in the classrooms, really spaced out. And some of our littler kids still have bento boxes. It's actually really easy for them. And our big kids have trays. And so far it's been working okay. The big kids miss being outside. So I told them on nice days, we will continue to try to go out if we can until it gets like gross outside, like mucky and yucky and all of that. But it's been going pretty well. And the kids are really well trained. They have their mask off, they eat, and as soon as they're done, they put their mask back on.
I have another question, Jackie. I know that we did receive an email letter about this TikTok challenge for
Yes.
Friday. While I was at work reading that, there were people in my office getting notifications from their schools about this. And then, it's all over the news. So I'm wondering about how we share that information, or...
We met as a leadership team and we didn't think it was appropriate for us to share with just an elementary school district. The people that you're talking about are probably districts that include K to 12 and include the middle and high school students that have a way more access to TikTok and are larger. We felt like what we met as a leadership team, and what we did instead, we decided to just inform the teachers to just be aware so that there's a heightened awareness. But we decided that it wasn't worth the I don't know. We didn't want to make people nervous about something where I think maybe a handful of our kids even know what TikTok is. In Shutesbury, we're still, even though we have high-speed internet, we're still a little bit in that bubble where we're not caught up yet to typical towns, in the sense where kids are way more tech savvy and on tech a lot more. That's not necessarily the case. Obviously there are some kids that know TikTok, our 6th graders in particular, but there's 13 of them, and so we have a handle on them in a little bit of a different way than if you had 250 6th graders.
Well, my heart goes out to everybody, because I think it's just another added layer of stress on top of everything else, and unnecessary. And I'm sorry that everybody has to continue to deal with, you know, things like that. So,
Yeah, and especially, we met as a staff last week and the week before, we reviewed and did some thorough training about our safety procedures after what happened in Michigan last week or the week before. And we talked about how it's really tricky when you have to balance, health safety and physical safety. And we decided we're not going to be propping like we had doors propped for a little while, getting fresh air and things like that. And that we've decided that now with that, there's the option for vaccination for people. And we have so many other health pieces inside that we're no longer doing the door propping. We are using separate entrances still, but we're going to try to really lock down the perimeter again, especially because unfortunately we're seeing an uptick in violence in schools again. So
one of the things that I thought was interesting in that school incident was they had some sort of bar that they put in the bottom of the door. We have something like that, right? Where they can't open the door, right?
Well,
Or are they locked?
we have magnets. We actually have a really good system as long as our doors are locked on the outside. So we do have 4 buttons in the school that can be pressed by anybody. And all of the staff knows where they are. And it releases the magnets of the doors and they shut and they lock, and it actually barricades all of the classrooms. So the classrooms are in the U and the U is completely blocked off, as well as all of the classroom doors are shut and locked.
Right.
So we do have that piece, Dan, that is really great. We don't have a door jam thing because it was built as a community school. You have the outside door that has the lock and the magnet, and then the inside doors. Remember, those classrooms are made by wall partitions, movable wall partitions, and the doors have not a locking handle. The classroom is locked from the outside hallway, but the classroom is not locked from the door handle. So there's the way the doors are, there's not a jam to be able to put that in. But we have done a lot of other safety measures, like, back in the days of pre-COVID, when we were doing like a lot of building tours, every classroom has a mini fire extinguisher right near the door. And that's not for a fire, but that is to spray in the face of any sort of an intruder or to use to hurt an intruder. So we've done a lot of like little pieces like that, along with our really comprehensive system to be able to make sure that teachers feel like they have something. We're also on the first floor, so we've talked a lot about having to exit through a window and where to go outside if we need to be outside. That we have pretty comprehensive plans. Yeah.
Good. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Steve, you still have a hand up. Did you have a question?
I do. I'm just checking on the unmasking at recess in January.
What about it? We're intending to follow through with what we said, although I believe that 90% of the students will still be wearing masks by choice.
That was it. Thank you.
It's a crazy time with cases and all that. It's crazy. All right. Any other questions for Jackie? Thank you, Jackie. All right. Amherst Pelham Representatives Report. Steve.
All right, we've only met, due to Thanksgiving, we've only met once since we met last, and it was pretty much just housekeeping, except for we approved the school calendar for next year already. And the 2 big things are that school will start on Thursday, August 25th, and end on June 22nd. As long as there's no snow or ice.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions for Stephen? All right. Union 28 report. Nothing, Lauren, right? No. All right. Collaborative report. I don't think I have anything since we spoke last. And the only thing I mentioned was the annual report that I'll be submitting. So Steve, if you can get me the number of students that are attending at Amherst Regional, both middle and high school. And Jackie, if you could send me how many total students we have and maybe how many homeschool students. Okay, I appreciate that.
I will do that.
And if anyone has anything they'd like to write in there, they could submit it to me. I can add it in from you. We can meld it, however, whatever you want. But although I'm the chair and I submit the annual report, it is representative of the committee. I kind of looked through different years and what different people presented. So I kind of narrowed it down to sort of the facts of operational or whatever. I mean, some people went deep into like curriculum and all of that, but I kind of felt like in terms of a report to the townspeople, I think they're mostly focusing on budget and stuff. So, but I'm willing to put in anything. Policy review. Are we ready to move there, or is there anything else? Awesome. So first reading on IHBAA, Observation of Special Education Program. If you've read through it and you see there are edits or anything that you'd like to mention, you can mention that now here, or you could email the policy subcommittee, which I believe is Bethany and Julie and Jackie. You're on there, right? Okay. Does anyone have anything they'd like to add in terms of an edit to that one? All right. If you do read it and you want to send something, please do. And then the same thing with JI, student rights and responsibilities. Okay, if there's anything there, you can say something now or submit something in writing. Next is the second reading, first vote on GBEA, staff ethics, conflict of interest. Do we have a motion to approve for a first vote?
I move to approve.
Excellent. And a second?
I second.
Excellent. Does anyone have any edits? I had a couple. Trevor, will you take the edits? Because I think normally maybe Jen does for the, it should be pretty easy. But do you have those in front of you or no?
I don't, I mean, I have the policy, copies of the policy that were sent out with all the information to the school committee.
Okay,
Let me
so
just,
how
let me
about I
just pull
just,
those up and I can try to do that.
I can make it into just a sentence too, and I appreciate you doing that, Trevor.
So this is GBEA.
Yes, GBEA. So it's a,
Sure, go ahead.
okay, so I believe it's a simple edit in the fourth paragraph. In the middle, it says, at no time may any administrator responsible, I think there should be a B in there, be responsible for the supervisor and or evaluation of an employee. And then we need to either remove the B and maybe put something like who is directly related to them. So it would read, at no
Correct,
time may any administrator be responsible for the supervisor and or evaluation of an employee who is directly related to them. Those were the only two edits that I had.
Got it.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second on the table. Are both of you willing to accept the amendments? Okay. All those in favor, and this is the first vote anyhow. Hayes, aye.
Sullivan, aye.
Hightower.
Okay,
Thomas Bacon, I.
excellent. All right, we also have another second reading, first vote on GBEC, drug-free workplace. Any edits to that? I didn't see any. Okay, all in favor? Hayes, aye. Oh, I'm sorry, we need a motion, right? Or do we do that?
I'll move to approve.
Okay, and a second.
I'll second.
All right, I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, there's no further discussion, no edits, all in favor? Hayes, aye.
Martel, I.
Thomas Pickman, aye.
Sullivan, I.
Rose, I.
Okay. All right, so next on the agenda is first vote on deletion of policy and IHAE physical education. Do we have a motion to approve the deletion of the policy?
So moved.
And a second,
I second.
okay? And I believe it's because we have another one replacing that, is that right? Yes, okay. All in favor, Hayes, aye.
Sullivan, I.
Martel, I.
Thomas Pickman, aye.
Rose, I.
Okay. All right, and next is the first vote on deletion of policy JCA1, students of non-resident employee. Do we have a motion to approve the deletion of that policy?
So moved.
Okay,
I'll second.
all right. Any discussion? All in favor? Hayes, aye.
Martel, I.
Rose, I.
Thomas Pickman, aye.
Okay. All right, and next is the second and final vote on the deletion of policy H, negotiations.
I move to approve.
Okay,
I second.
okay. And any discussion? All right, all in favor? Hayes, aye.
Martel, I.
Rose, I.
Was I muted? Thomas Pickman, aye.
Okay. All right, and Bethany or Julie, so on the policy on the students' rights and responsibilities for that first reading, I want to come back to that for just one quick minute because I have a question, because it's in that policy, it states that for children of the staff, that the approval is of the school committee. So I don't think we've ever voted on that in the past.
No, when I first started here, like when Jen wasn't the superintendent, we used to just like tell you that it was happening, but it was never a vote.
Right. So I am kind of curious about this policy, because the policy, it says, you know, children of staff employed at 0.5 FTE or more of the Shutesbury School District, but who do not live in Shutesbury may attend Shutesbury Elementary. Enrollment will be approved on a case-by-case basis by the school committee.
Well,
So-
and now we have a new thing going on, remember, where they apply for school choice. So I think
anyhow,
this needs to be deleted.
Okay, so we need to look at that. And the other quick question I had, and it's actually for the policy before it, the IHBAA, and that's on observations of special education programs. So the collaborative is now the overseer of the special education surrogate program. So the special education surrogate program is a program throughout the state of Massachusetts where parents, guardians, or children, usually in Department of Youth Services, they have a surrogate that is their advocate for special education programs. So again, I'm not sure how that fits into this because it's not mentioned in there. So I'm just mentioning it to you now because it does seem like that program is at least more popular in different parts of the state, but it is becoming more, there's more awareness about that program even locally. So it may be something we want to include in there as another entity for observing kids. I don't know, but, and also Jackie, I wasn't sure if you had heard much about that program. It seems to be much newer, at least for the collaborative, but I think it's been around for like 12 years. So just to be aware that this is something, because they're looking for even people to sort of get more involved and volunteer to be an advocate for children who don't have a voice because they're in usually some sort of a Department of Youth Services program or something. Okay. So we have some other meetings coming up. Mainly the one on with the Finance Committee, I believe Select Board, Town Administrator, and that is going to be on actually it's not listed here. That is going to be on the 21st at 5:30. Is that right? What everybody recalls? So Lauren, could you open that meeting, please? I'm going to be in Florida and I will have a laptop, but at least if it's open, I'll try to do it from a laptop. But if I can't, then I'll do it from my phone. I'm hoping that it won't be long. Is that okay?
Well, and it can't be that long because I think Jen only has 40 minutes or something like that.
Right. And I know maybe Julie, were you coming in a little bit late on that too? So we're just going to do the best that we can. It is why I tried to sort of reschedule. I would have worked around this meeting in order to accommodate their needs. And again, I just feel like it's a bit rushed. And I like process. I always think it's good when there's a good process. And I'm not really sure. It seems like communication doesn't quite get around. So we'll do the best that we can. And Bruce, I'm sure you'll do a great job with the presentation that they're expecting. And obviously they're going to be curious about these funds, where they're coming from, how they're being used.
Yeah, I think that they need some real education on the ESSER funds because I don't think it's not just this free open bucket of money, and it feels like they might think that.
Right. And, you know, again, I think for you all in administration, you know, even with, if we have special needs students that come into our school, we need to make sure that we take care of those students. And I think it should be through a normal budget as opposed to use of school choice funds. But you guys.
Well, and the need is extraordinary in our younger grades. I'm being very frank, extraordinary. And the whole thing of preschool always comes up every year with budget. And in January, we're going to have 7 or 8 children on pretty significant IEPs in preschool. So it is, if we did not have a public preschool, I want to just lay this out now. If we did not have a public preschool, this would be $1 million worth of out of district placements. So I really feel like, and we see more and more in the pipeline, and it means it's going to mean a significant difference for our school in the coming years, and how we need to be able to use the funds and how we support the significant need that we're getting. So, I mean, it's very different from what I've seen in my 8 years. So, and I think we're seeing it across the district, but I feel like Shutesbury sees it a lot. So I just wanted to put that out there because it's going to mean some significant, programmatic type shifts in the building, or using staff differently, or needing more support staff.
And we need to do this because we are required by law. And as you said, it will certainly, it's cost effective to have a program. So that's a whole nother discussion. But if these students are coming in, I think that somehow needs to be built into the normal budget.
Can I ask a question about that?
Yep.
If I think you had said that that you're hiring a para for basically the second half of the year, and that you're planning on using school choice funds to cover that.
Or possibly, it's a new thing, so we have to really examine it.
Because it feels like that's maybe a kind of bad precedent to set. If you are trying to build it into the budget and there is some funds in school choice, I'm just sort of questioning.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the issue, I try to be very transparent, and I also try to not ask for what I don't need. It's I've done that for 8 years, and I'm pretty serious about it. So when we have a group leave, like 6th grade is going to leave, and then I'm going to look at the paras that I have, and I don't want to just hire someone. I don't want to have to fire somebody because I don't need them. I'd rather just hire this other need until the end of the year, re-examine what's going on, and then move forward. That's how I'm thinking as, the principal anyway.
Okay. Lauren?
I think it makes sense with what Jackie's saying about it being it's temporary until she reevaluates it. So given that, I think it's still reasonable for it to, I understand what you're saying about the precedent, but I feel like if she's clearly saying she wants to just do it for this stretch of time because these are new students coming in, and then were she to need to make that a permanent position, then we would need to build it into the budget. I think that sounds like a reasonable way to do it.
Yeah, I agree. And Jackie and Bruce, since you're still here and doing the budget, again, I'm not saying what you should do, because I do think that you look at things and you try to balance, the needs of the school, the needs of the students, the condition of the town. And a lot of what you and we have done over the years has been building goodwill, and goodwill is being open, transparent, putting money where we can, when we can. Just the thought is, maybe using that school choice money somewhere else and building that into the budget, but you guys figure it out. I'll support either way. We need to obviously have what we need for these students, period.
Yeah. And I mean, again, I'm just going to remind people about this too. We're talking about maybe $12,000 when all is said and done. So we're not talking about a really large chunk of money. And Bruce and I could very well find it, in other places. I was just making sure that everyone understood of the need that we have and that we're going to need to support that.
So if I could make a suggestion, and that maybe would be the focus, is that we have a need. We need to support it. We will see where within the budget we can find the money to do that. Perfect. All right. Is there anything else? Okay, so I appreciate all of you being here and your patience in getting us going. That's it. This meeting is adjourned. You all have a nice evening. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Good night.
everybody.